Welcome back to Justice Under Review. We know you've been waiting, so without further ado, let's dive right into today's story. A judge's robe is meant to stand for fair justice. But what happens when the man beneath it is a bully hiding his hate behind legal jargon? In the city of Brookfield, Judge Walter Hayes ruled the courtroom. His decisions were ironclad, his prejudices ran deep, and his disdain for people of color was no secret. One morning, he zeroed in on a new victim, a straightforward black man in court for a small traffic offense. He mocked him, belittled him, and geared up to wreck his day. What he didn't know was that he wasn't just presiding over a regular citizen. He was facing judgment from the Attorney General himself. The ticket showed up in the mail, a plain slip stuck between junk ads and a charity plea. To Elijah Grant, it stung like a minor annoyance in his carefully structured world. The charge was a bad lane switch, something he didn't recall. The spot was a road he seldom used, and the timing clashed with a regular staff meeting he'd never skipped in his tenure. Elijah traced a finger over the court's stamped seal. Brookfield. The name left a bitter edge. On the surface, it was a thriving town with shiny skyscrapers and tidy suburbs. But Elijah knew the rot beneath, the rumors from police stations, the tales of biased stops hitting black and brown drivers hardest, and the quiet gripes about the judges. At the core of it all loomed the courthouse, a stark concrete block built to scare more than serve. And ruling that domain was Judge Walter Hayes. His nickname in legal crowds was the Enforcer. He treated the law like a club, not a balance. His verdicts hit hard, his attitude grated, and his bias, though never formally slapped down, fueled endless whispers and frantic appeals. Elijah set the ticket on his kitchen counter. His gut said to hand it off. He could have one of his sharp aides, a crew of eager young attorneys, make a quick call, sort the clear mix-up, and wipe it away. That'd be smart, straightforward. But something stopped him. His office had been gathering stats on court abuses and baked-in discrimination for ages. Brookfield County, and Hayes's courtroom especially, stood out like a warning flare. The numbers didn't lie. Defendants of color got sentences 30% harsher than white ones for the same crimes. The stack of ignored complaints against him from the state's oversight board was sky high. Folks like his grandfather, a lifelong Brookfield resident, called it the spot where fairness went to rot. This ticket wasn't random. It smacked of the very poison he battled. Brushing it off would mean looking away, using his pull to dodge what thousands couldn't. It felt off. It felt like breaking his vow. "You're heading there yourself, aren't you?" The voice came from his wife, Rebecca, a literature professor with a gentle, grounding calm that always steadied him. She stepped into the kitchen, already in her cardigan, pouring coffee. She'd caught the resolve in his eyes. "It's an error, Beck," he said softly. "I was knee-deep in a budget huddle with the whole team." "I know," she replied, leaning on the counter. "And you could fix it with one word. But you won't, will you? You need to witness it firsthand." She knew him inside out. He wasn't just Elijah Grant, the guy who loved blues records and weekend hikes. He was Attorney General Elijah Grant, and the AG didn't dodge a summons, especially one dragging him into the heart of the mess. "I have to," he confessed. "How can I fix a broken machine if I've never felt its gears from the inside?" Rebecca nodded, worry flickering in her gaze. "Just watch yourself, Elijah. That place chews folks up. Don't let it grind you down." "I won't," he said, steeling himself. He decided then, no flashing his title, no pulling favors. He'd dress plain, clear his schedule, and step into Brookfield County District Court as Elijah Grant, ordinary guy accused of a lane slip-up. It was risky, In that room, his rank, his education, his service meant zilch. He'd be just another black man before a white judge holding all the cards. And that was the whole idea. The sting was tiny, but it might reveal a gaping sore. The Brookfield courthouse loomed even grimmer up close than in pictures, harsh gray, stripped of any welcome. Its thick columns felt like prison bars. Inside, the air hung stale, laced with cheap cleaner, nerves, and quiet despair. It was a mill where dreams got stamped, sorted, and usually crushed. Elijah, in basic khakis and a plain button-down, his hair neat but unstyled, melted into the folks on the stiff benches. He gripped a simple messenger bag, ticket inside, no suit, no briefcase, no sign of his clout. Today, he was invisible, and the mask chilled him to the bone. The murmurs kicked off right away. They buzzed in the corridor, a low drone of dread and defeat. Drew Hayes today, my rep said just cop to it, whatever, better than pissing him off. My nephew got 2 months for a busted light, 2 months 'cause he pushed back. Keep low, don't meet his eyes, he can't stand that. Hayes's name echoed like a dark spell, whispered in fear. Elijah listened, his gut twisting with each tale. These weren't yarns, they were lifelines for surviving a rigged game. The shared lore of a community chained by one man's hate. He watched a young Hispanic kid, barely out of his teens, get hauled off in cuffs, shoulders sagging. His overworked defender, juggling files, gave a quick sorry shrug before dashing to the next hopeless fight. Elijah's eyes shifted to the guards. They strutted heavy, snapping commands, voices edged with zero compassion. When a shaky older lady asked which room she needed, a stocky guard named Keller, tag clear, rolled his eyes. "Board's right there, ma'am," he grunted, waving vaguely. "Move it, you're blocking." Elijah's blood heated. He saw her shrink, shuffling off, shamed. A petty meanness, an easy flex, but it screamed the vibe here. This was Hayes' turf, and from guards to clerks, they'd all caught his cold disregard. His hearing was in 4B. Nearing it, he spotted a young black woman, late 20s maybe, slumped against the wall, tears silent. Her partner tried soothing her, his face twisted in powerless fury. "It's gonna be all right, hun," he murmured, voice breaking. "We'll sort it. We'll fight it." "Fight?" she choked, buried in his chest. Justice under review. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss our latest stories. With what, Mike? He yanked my license for a year for a few late tickets. How do I get to my shift? How do we keep the lights on? Elijah's chest ached. He'd pored over reports on this trap. Fines piling to snare folks in endless punishment, hitting the broke and minorities hardest. And Judge Hayes loved doling it out. When 4B's doors creaked open, a tight-haired clerk barked names from a sheet. 10 traffic cases, single file, quiet, phone silent, papers out. Elijah lined up, the corridor echoes ringing. He wasn't watching anymore. He was in it, another cog. Crossing the threshold, the chill deepened. The space sprawled dark, wood walls sucking light and noise. Up front, high on a looming platform, the bench waited empty but commanding. A setup for 1 star, a ruler's seat. And the crowd, edgy defendants, worn defenders, blank prosecutors, waited for King Walter Hayes to claim it. Elijah sat, spine straight, hands steady, dread pooled but mixed with sharp focus. He'd come for the raw truth, and he sensed the curtain rising. The side door banged wide, and Judge Walter Hayes stormed in, robe swirling like thunder. Late 60s, silver mane, ruddy cheeks, eyes pale blue. He dropped into his tall chair with a huff, like carrying the world's weight was his curse alone. "All rise," the guard droned. Folks stood. Hayes swept the room, his stare lingering on darker faces, a faint curl of lip. He cracked the gavel, echo sharp. "Sit." He plowed the list with ruthless speed, master of the quick cut, the offhand slight, dubbed a kid genius for missing a term, told a woman begging mercy on a speeder, "Can't pay, don't drive fancy." Each dig reminded, his rule, absolute. At last, Elijah Grant, lane violation. Elijah rose, approached the table, steady, stood tall, hands back, met the judge's eyes. Hayes peered over specs, squinting. "Well, Elijah Grant, what's this?" He rustled papers, slow, dramatic. "Says you cut off a car on the Brook Bridge. Risky move. Your side, Mr. Grant?" "Your Honor," Elijah said even, "I think it's a mix-up. I wasn't on that bridge then. I was at work, in a meeting with over 30 folks." Hayes leaned back, grin creeping. He chuckled low, gut deep, skin prickling. Shared a glance with guard Keller, who snorted. Their laugh bounced in the hush. "Work," Hayes boomed sarcastic. "What do you do? Stock shelves? Flip burgers? Bet you're the shift boss." The ADA, young go-getter named Lawson, fidgeted but stayed mum. Knew Hayes's temper. Speaking up was career poison. Elijah held firm. "My job's beside the point, Your Honor. I've got proof where I was." "Proof?" Hayes barked, hand waving. "Everyone's got proof. Mom's note, Buddy's word. Seen it all." He leaned in, voice low but carrying. "Listen, 30 years here, I spot types like you. Rules, not for you. Entitled attitude." His eyes iced, words laced with raw bias. Not about the ticket anymore. A deeper venom. "Here's the deal," Hayes growled. "Spin tales about your job, I'll contempt you. Max fine, yank license a year, maybe toss weekend jail for court respect." He grinned wolfish. "Or guilty, $200, done, your call." Room hushed. Eyes on Elijah. Saw a black man trapped, trashed by a white judge. Expected fold, tears, bad deal to end it. Elijah breathed deep, steady, didn't break gaze from Hayes's smug mug. Game over for watching. "Your Honor," he said, clear, strong, startling Hayes. "Third choice exists." Hayes's grin flickered annoyed. "No third, I gave options. Hard of hearing?" "No, Your Honor, heard fine." Elijah's tone commanded now. "Maybe you don't grasp who I am." Murmurs rippled. "Who was this guy?" Adia Lawson edged forward, warning ready. But Elijah's stance paused him. Not a beaten man, a winner holding aces. Elijah dipped into his bag. Guard Keller tensed, hand near holster, but Elijah moved smooth. Pulled a wallet, sleek black, flipped it, flashing not ID but gold badge gleaming under lights. "My name," he declared, voice thundering authority, hushing all, "is Elijah Grant, my role at state justice, the one you mocked." Paused, letting it sink, locked on Hayes, whose ruddy face paled ghostly. "I'm the state's attorney general," silence crushed. Thick void, only Hayes' pulse pounding. Words reshaped the room. Anonymous black man vanished. Chief law enforcer stood. Adia Lawson gaped thunderstruck. Reporter's keys halted. Keller backed, bluster gone, like facing a specter. But focus on Hayes, sneer wiped, horror pure. Mind raced. Types like you, entitled, janitor. Each slur now self-dug grave, not just mocked a defendant, threatened the one who could end his world. Mouth worked, croak escaped. Eyes darted badge to Elijah's icy fury. Power flipped savage. Throne man now the judged. Elijah snapped wallet shut, bagged it, turned slight to stunned ADA. Mr. Lawson, soft but lethal. You rep the state, stood idle while a judge abused power, spewed racial venom. You're quiet? Noted. Lawson winced, slapped. Back to Hayes. And you, Judge Hayes, ringing full office weight. This farce ends. But my dealings here, with you, just start, stepped from the table. Now AG's office probes Brookfield District Court fully, zeroing every case you touched last decade. Turn to gallery, to young couple, shamed elder, all stripped bare here, silent vow. Hammer's era done, backlash hit fast, fierce. Before Elijah left, phone buzzed, chief of staff tipped by panicked admin. Word of 4B spread like blaze through law and politics. In his bright office, worlds from Hayes' gloom, Elijah rallied his crew. No soft probe, full, bold dive. Not review, he told deputies. Dig, unearth every flaw. Justice under review. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss our latest stories. Not just Hayes, system shielding him, culture breeding him, all who ignored. Tapped Marcus Lee, civil rights head, to helm. Lee, brilliant, dogged, pressure-proof, justice laser. Marcus, Elijah eyed steady. All, finances, sentences, files, gripes, appeals. Who Hayes dined, golfed, backed campaigns. Every defender pushed bad pleas. Prosecutor rewarded convictions. Done, General, Lee grim. Blocked on Brookfield before, now door blasted. Soon courthouse crawled with AG sleuths, not armed but with warrants, scarier for bureaucrats. Secured drives, boxed files, lined interviews for all staff. Vibe shifted overnight, guards strut gone, nerves tight. Keller, Hayes' laugh buddy, first grilled, sweated under cool questions, tough guy act crumbling to weak downplay. Just follow Judge's vibe. He calls shots. Hayes yanked from bench by state judicial chief, probe pending. Hold in suburb mansion, dodging press. Once king, now self-caged. Walls once guarding power, now trapping him. Probe rippled city. Mayor's bland statement, concern, cooperation. Hayes backers ghosted. Biggest wave, community. AG hotline flooded. Silent years spoke. Mother license lost called. Broken light kids kin called. Tales of wrecked jobs, split homes, systems crush. Each a thread for Lee. Mosaic of horror. Not one judge. Silence packed. Rot deep. Elijah's court shame sparked overdue storm. Data flood massive. Files thousands. Sentences decade. Comms gigs. Lee's team non-stop coffee-fueled rage. Software crunched. Disparity no fluke. Formula. Nonviolent drugs. Black sentences 4+ years longer than white identicals. Fines 50, 75% steeper on minorities. 2 tracks, harsh one group, soft another. But stats cold, needed lives. Investigators hit streets, centers, churches, shops, safe spots. Found Clara Thompson, ex-clerk under Hayes 15 years, retired, stressed. Scared at first. Small place, cared mom. Can't risk, whispered. Hayes sees all, connections. Investigator patient, protection offer, others speaking. Clara opened. Hayes's list. Activist lawyers, late Friday slots, motions denied, max penalties to punish challengers. Recalled Hayes hauling muttering black defendant back, contempt, extra month. Teach respect, he said, but power, breaking folks. Worst, Hayes's finances. Accountants spotted odd inflows to private account, from shells tied to local private jail firm, Secure Inc. Quid pro quo, more inmates, longer terms, more cash. Profited misery, lives to dollars. Others snared. Lawson. High winds in Hayes' room via unspoken pact. No challenges to bias or shortcuts. Hayes smoothed cases, boosted resume, built on railroaded backs. Web-tangled. Bondsman kickbacks to clerks. Cops safe shady arrests in Hayes' court. Review board Hayes' pals burying complaints. Elijah eyed Lee's briefs heavy-hearted. Revelations, horrors. Cancer spread wide. Started one man, now institutional overhaul. As Lee's net tightened, Hayes' life shrank. Pals silent, club banned, allies fled like plague, power dust, desperate shell. But Hayes fought, hired slick defender Victor Kane, attack dog, Kane presser on courthouse steps, witch hunt, overreach, painted Hayes victim, servant targeted by radical AG. Private, Hayes frayed, paste study, whiskey constant, paranoid calls to ghosts, tried scaring witnesses, voicemails logged, charges piled. Desperate, discredit Clara Thompson, diary queen. Tapped shady ex-cop buddy Ray Donovan, past favor. Donovan harassed Clara, tailed, dug ex-spouse, spun liar tale. But AG anticipated, Clara protected. Donovan's moves taped, Hayes' meat snapped, not discredit, added tampering, conspiracy. Final blow, Lawson. Facing proof, jail loom cracked. Immunity plea testified, detailed Hayes' rule, backed Clara, spilled deals. Evidence landslide, stats, money trail, victim voices, diaries, protege confession. Kane saw doom. Trial bloodbath, pushed plea. News broke Hayes. Admit, surrender, unthinkable. In his view, no wrong. Order keeper, rage to despair. Hearing not Hayes' grand room, sterile state judicial commission chamber, packed, press, scholars, hallway faces. Young couple held hands, shamed elder front satisfied. Hayes entered broken, stoop, loose suit, gaunt, eyes down. Elijah there, not prosecution, public seats. Simple attire, not revenge, witness close, presence, no one above law. Proceedings quick, savage, commission counsel summed, findings crush. Stats, finances, Clara affidavit, staff, played threat voicemail. Video, Lawson, warn, detailed slurs, intent examples. Done, Kane rose, no fight, no contest, surrender, no sorry. Chair, Mr. Hayes, words before decision. Hayes stood shaky. Scanned room, support none. Met Elijah's calm, no gloat, just justice mirror. I served 30 years, worked hard, mistakes, weak reframe malice as slips, unmoved. Verdict? Violated oath every way. Office sword, not shield. Poisoned justice. Removed permanently. Refer DOJ. Conspiracy, fraud, rights deprivation. Gasp. Harshest, career end, fed time. As commission guards, not his, let out, Hayes grasped ruin. Prejudice empire ash, gavel on his head. Justice under review. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss our latest stories. 6 months post-fall, Brookfield Courthouse stood. Graystone. Inside, quiet shift. Fear hush to reform talk. Hammer gone, scars deep, healing slow. Elijah launched Oak Haven Justice Initiative, probe past, rebuild future, led by retired Supreme Judge Sophia Ramirez, keen, honest. Ramirez purged. Keller fired, abusive guards. Lawson quit, took lowly firm gig, scandal tainted. Impact. Review board basement office. Defenders, students, retirees combed Hayes cases. Wrongs surfaced. Broken light kid. Record cleared. State sorry. License lost mom. Reinstated. Fines covered anonymously. Elijah's touch. Clara Thompson. Consultant, training ethics. Observer to changer. Hayes's end. Fed court distant. Trial brief. Evidence tsunami. Guilty all. Fraud, conspiracy, rights. Judge, 20 years fed, no parole. Inmate number, surrounded by those he smirked away. Karma full, crushing. Later autumn, Elijah drove Brookfield. Not courthouse, community center, hard-hit hood, jeans, sweater, like court day. Watched kids hoop on fresh court, laughs ringing. Saw young mom arrive car, not bus, for son, job kept. She met his eye, small, grateful smile. Organizer approached, voice thick. First time ever, folks here head to courthouse for jury. Not scared, proud. Warmth filled Elijah, not sun. True win, faith reborn, mending tear. Journey from ticket, insult, to light, laughter, trust rebuild. Courthouse fixing, foundation solid, at last dot. In the cold, echoing halls of Brookfield County District Court, Judge Walter Hayes sat high on his bench like an untouchable king, his black robe a shield for the deep prejudice he wore like armor. That morning, he fixed his cold blue eyes on Elijah Grant, a quiet black man in plain khakis and a simple button-down shirt, charged with a minor traffic violation. Hayes mocked him openly, sneering at his type, questioning his job, and threatening contempt and jail time simply because Elijah dared to speak with calm dignity. "Rules aren't for people like you," the judge snarled, his words dripping with racial contempt. The courtroom fell silent as Hayes prepared to crush another life, convinced this ordinary black man was just another easy target to humiliate and punish. But Elijah Grant was no ordinary defendant. He was the state's Attorney General, Elijah Grant, who had deliberately walked into the courtroom without revealing his identity. He had come to witness firsthand the systemic bias and cruelty he had long suspected in Judge Hayes' courtroom, the same courtroom that handed out sentences 30% harsher to people of color, buried complaints, and turned justice into a weapon. Every insult, every biased threat, every display of raw power was now etched into Elijah's memory and recorded in his quiet resolve. When the moment came, Elijah stood tall, pulled out his official badge, and spoke with commanding clarity. "Your Honor, my name is Elijah Grant. I am the Attorney General of this state." The courtroom froze. Judge Hayes's smug face drained of color as the man he had just belittled revealed himself as the highest law enforcement officer in the state, the very person with the power to investigate and dismantle the corruption Hayes had built. What followed was swift and devastating. A full probe was launched into Brookfield County Court. Years of biased rulings, financial irregularities, and civil rights violations were exposed. Hayes was removed from the bench, disbarred, and ultimately sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. His empire of hate and unchecked power collapsed under the weight of the very justice he had twisted for so long. This powerful story delivers one of life's most profound and deeply emotional lessons. Asterisk, asterisk. Never let prejudice or power blind you to the worth of another human being, because the person you mock, belittle, or try to destroy today may be the very one who holds the authority and courage to bring your entire world of injustice crashing down. Asterisk. Asterisk. Judge Hayes saw only skin color and assumed weakness. He never imagined the quiet man before him carried the badge and the moral strength to expose decades of systemic cruelty. The tale reminds us that true justice is patient but relentless. It often arrives in plain clothes with quiet dignity, waiting for the perfect moment to rise. Life will sometimes place you in a courtroom of its own, where you are judged unfairly, dismissed because of how you look, or treated as less than. In those crushing moments, remember Elijah Grant. Hold your head high, speak your truth with calm resolve, and trust that the universe has a way of balancing the scales with breathtaking precision. No one is truly above the law, and no one is truly beneath its protection. Respect is not a favor. It is the foundation of a just society. The tables can turn when we least expect it, and karma has a way of arriving wearing the very robe we thought made us untouchable. If this heartfelt story of hidden strength, systemic bias, and the quiet power of truth moved you deeply, if it reminded you never to judge too quickly or stay silent when dignity is attacked, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been dismissed or witnessed prejudice that later led to a powerful reckoning? Your story could give hope to someone feeling powerless right now. If you love emotional, inspiring life lessons wrapped in gripping tales of courage and accountability, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next powerful chapter. Let's build a community that values respect, fairness, and human dignity for every single person. Thank you for watching. Your support means everything. See you in the next inspiring story. 298 words. Justice under review. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss our latest stories.